I slammed my laptop shut, my hands trembling. No. This can't be right, I muttered. Clara leaned over my shoulder. Ethan, what's wrong? I didn't answer at first. My eyes fixed on the numbers, the bank statements, the transactions. James. He's taken it. Half the investment, gone. Clara's hand flew to her mouth. Taken it. Are you sure? Maybe it's a mistake. I shook my head violently. No mistake. Look at these dates. Look at the transfers. He knew I trusted him. He knew. My voice cracked. All these years, friendship. And he did this behind my back? Clara sat down heavily beside me. Do you want me to call him? Confront him? I ran my hands through my hair, pacing. I don't know. Part of me wants to scream at him, rip him apart. But my fists clenched. I need to think. I can't let anger make me reckless. Clara's voice softened. You've always been too trusting. Maybe this is why he did it. He saw a weakness. I froze, staring at her. Weakness. Clara, he's my best friend. My brother from another life. I shared everything with him. My dreams, my failures, my plans, and he stabbed me in the back. She swallowed, avoiding my eyes. People change. Some faster than we realize. I sank into my chair, feeling the room spin. Change or greed? James was always ambitious, but I thought he was loyal. I thought we were building something together. My voice lowered, almost a whisper. Now he's destroyed it. Clara placed a hand on mine. We can rebuild. You're smart, Ethan. You've survived worse. I looked at her, trying to see hope in her words. But can I survive this? My company, my reputation, everything is on the line. And James, he just walks around like nothing happened, like he owns the world. Clara's eyes softened. Maybe it's time you start thinking about your world, not his. I laughed bitterly. You sound like a self-help book. Clara, you don't get it. This isn't just business. This is betrayal. This cuts deeper than anything I've ever felt. The phone buzzed on my desk. A message from Daniel Foster. Heard some bad news? Call me. I stared at it, rage bubbling. Daniel, he's rubbing salt in the wound. Of course he'd take pleasure in this. Clara shook her head. You don't need to fight him right now. Focus on James. He's the one who matters. I paced again, thoughts racing. I can't let him win. He thinks I'm naive, that I'll crumble. But he doesn't know me. My jaw tightened. He doesn't know how far I can go when I have nothing left. Clara hesitated. Do you want revenge? Or do you just want to survive? I stopped and faced her. Both. First I survive, then. He'll see the consequences. He always thought loyalty was optional. He'll learn it's not. Clara nodded slowly. We'll start by securing what's left. I can handle the accounts, the clients, everything. You focus on planning your next move. I sank back into my chair, staring at the ceiling. Planning. That's all I can do right now. I can't trust anyone fully, not even James's so-called friends. Everyone who smiles at him now. They're part of this mess. Clara bit her lip. Ethan, don't lose yourself. Remember who you are. You're stronger than he thinks. I nodded, though a cold fire burned inside me. Stronger. And smarter. I won't let him see me broken. Not today. Not ever. A silence fell between. Clara's hands still on mine, grounding me. My mind raced, torn between confrontation and patience. I have to decide. Do I confront him now? Tear everything open, or do I wait? Watch him slip while I rebuild quietly. Clara's voice was firm. Watch. Learn. Then strike when the time is right. That's how winners play the game. I let out a slow breath, my heart pounding. Then I wait. But I won't forget. I'll rise, Clara. And when I do, James Whitmore will regret every choice he made against me. He won't see it coming. Not for a second. Her hand squeezed mine. I believe that, Ethan. I stared at the city lights outside my window. London felt cold, indifferent. But within me, something stirred, an ember turning into fire. He betrayed me. Yes, but his betrayal will build my empire, and he'll remember my name forever. I stormed into the cafe where James had agreed to meet. My hands were shaking, but my voice had to remain steady. We need to talk. Now. He looked up from his coffee, that infuriating calm on his face. Ethan? What's wrong? You sound upset? Upset? James, you embezzled half the company's investment. Do you have any idea what you've done? He smiled, almost casual. I think you're overreacting. Maybe there's been a mistake. A mistake? I felt my chest tighten. The bank statements, the transfers, have seen them. Don't play games with me. He leaned back, arms crossed. Look, Ethan, business is business. You always knew risks come with rewards. Maybe I just took a risk you weren't willing to. I slammed my fist on the table. A risk? You betrayed me. Me, your friend. All those years of trust gone, and you call it a risk? He tilted his head. I didn't betray anyone. I made a decision for the company's future. For the company's future? I laughed bitterly, the sound hollow. James, that was our money. Our dreams. You didn't think of the future, you thought of yourself. He shrugged, unconcerned. Maybe, but you need to calm down. This anger isn't helping anyone. I stared at him, disbelief and fury clashing in my chest. How can you be so calm? Do you even feel anything? He smirked. Feelings cloud judgment. I prefer clarity. I took a deep breath, trying to steady my shaking hands. Clara's right. You've always been ambitious. But I thought loyalty mattered to you. His eyes flickered just for a second. Then he leaned in, lowering his voice. Ethan, loyalty is important. But in business, survival comes first. You should know that by now. I wanted to shout, to hit something, anything. But instead, I pressed my lips together, forcing patience. And here I thought we were brothers. Turns out I was wrong. He gave me that familiar, infuriating grin. I'm sorry you feel that way, truly. But life moves on. I shook my head. Not for me, James. Not when everything I trusted is gone. You've shattered me. He sipped his coffee, unfazed. Then rebuild. That's all you can do, isn't it? I bit my lip, frustration turning into a slow, simmering determination. You think I can't? Watch me. I will rebuild. And when I do, everything you've taken from me, you'll regret it. He raised an eyebrow. Regret? That's a strong word. But okay, Ethan, I'll wait. I stormed out of the cafe, Clara's voice echoing in my mind. Don't act rashly. You have to think, plan, survive. Back at my apartment, Clara was waiting. How did it go? She asked gently, though I could see the worry in her eyes. I sank into the chair, running a hand through my hair. He's calm, infuriatingly calm. He denies everything. Acts like I'm overreacting, like he's untouchable. Clara bit her lip. He's arrogant, but arrogance can be a weakness. You just have to find it. I nodded, still seething. I see cracks. Just tiny ones, but they're there. He's overconfident. Thinks I'll crumble. But I won't. Clara reached for my hand. You need allies, Ethan. People you can trust, who understand the law, the business world. You can't do this alone. I hesitated. I've been to trusting. Look where it got me. I can't just hand my plans to someone else. Clara's eyes softened. Not hand. Collaborate. Strategize. There's a lawyer I know, Sophie Lane. Sharp. Reliable. She could help you protect what's left. I frowned, thinking. Sophie Lane. I've heard of her. Ruthless. Precise. No nonsense. Maybe she's exactly what I need. Clara nodded. She won't let emotions cloud your decisions. You'll need that. I leaned back, staring at the ceiling, thoughts spinning. I've trusted too much. James, Daniel. People who smiled in my face and stabbed me in the back. I can't make that mistake again. Clara squeezed my hand. You won't, but you have to be strategic. Patience will give you more power than anger ever could. I exhaled slowly. Patience. Yes. I watch, wait, learn. And when the time is right, I strike. Not recklessly, not with emotion, with precision. She smiled faintly. That's the Ethan Clark I know. Strong, smart, unstoppable. I gave a small, tight smile. I hope so. Because this is only the beginning. He thinks he's won. He thinks he's untouchable. But he's made a mistake, trusting that I'll fall. Clara's eyes met mine, full of faith. And you won't. No, I said quietly, a fire igniting in my chest. I won't. I'll rebuild quietly, grow stronger in one day. James Whitmore will see the empire I create from the ashes he left behind, and he'll regret ever betraying me. I clenched my fists, heart pounding. He thinks this is the end. But for me, it's the start of something he can't even imagine. I slammed the office door behind me and muttered, "Time to start over." Clara raised an eyebrow. Start over? With what? You've got barely anything left, Ethan. I ran a hand through my hair. I know, but I can't just sit here and cry over James. I need to rebuild. From scratch if I have to. You're serious? She asked. I nodded. Every word. And I won't fail this time. I can't. Not after everything. Clara gave a small smile. All right, then let's figure out where to begin. Clients, investors, staff, all gone, but not for long. I paced. First, I need someone smart, someone overlooked, someone who can help me without all the ego. You mean Liam Carter? Clara asked cautiously. Yes, I heard about him from Sophie. Apparently he's brilliant, but nobody recognizes it. Perfect for me. Clara shrugged. If you trust Sophie's judgment, then okay. The next day, I met Liam in a small, dimly lit co-working space. I extended my hand. Liam Carter? I'm Ethan Clark. I hear you're the guy who makes impossible things happen with code. He shook my hand firmly. I try. But most companies don't notice someone like me, I said, leaning forward. I notice. I need someone exactly like you. Smart, patient, and willing to build from the ground up. Liam's eyes lit up. You mean from scratch? That's rare. Good rare, I corrected him. You're in. We rebuild quietly, carefully. No mistakes. No distractions, he grinned. Count me in. After he left, I sat back and told Clara, he's exactly what I need. I can feel it. No arrogance, no distractions, just pure talent. Clara smiled, but her eyes warned me. Remember, Ethan, it's a long road. You can't let anger cloud your judgment. I know. I exhaled, trying to settle the fire in my chest. But sometimes, anger fuels focus. That evening, Sophie Lane called. Ethan, I've reviewed your legal options. We need structure before you grow, otherwise James or anyone else could strike again. I don't want anyone to strike again, I said. I want control. And I want patience. Strategy. You'll help me? Of course, but you must listen. Your emotions can't drive this. I'll guide you, but the work, the decisions, are yours? I understand, I said. And I did. At least I thought I did. Weeks passed in a blur of coding, calls, and planning. Ethan, we need more servers, Liam said one night. Traffic is growing faster than expected. I rubbed my temples. Fine, we'll get them. But carefully. Don't waste money, Liam smirked. You worry too much. But okay, boss? Clara brought me coffee during one late-night session. You're pushing yourself too hard, she warned. I can't stop. Not now. Every hour, I waste. That's advantage for James. He thinks I'm broken, but I'm building while he rests. Clara shook her head. Just don't let obsession blind you. Patience, Ethan. You'll need it. I sip the coffee, eyes on the glowing monitors. Patience. Yes, and watch. Watch him stumble, quietly, invisibly. One night I muttered aloud, pacing my apartment. He's probably laughing right now, thinking I'm finished, but I'm not. Not even close. Clara appeared from the doorway, soft but firm. Ethan, don't let him haunt your thoughts. Focus on what you can control. Stopped and faced her. I am focusing. Every line of code, every strategy, every meeting. It's all part of the plan. I'm rising from the rubble, Clara. I'm stronger than I was, smarter than I was, and patient. Patient will make him regret everything. Sophie joined a video call later. Ethan, the small victories matter. Don't underestimate them. Every step forward builds your empire and your confidence. Keep it steady. I see it, I said. Every day, progress. Every day I get closer to reclaiming everything and more. James thinks I'm weak, that I'll crumble. But I'm watching, waiting, growing. The months blurred. Liam stayed devoted, coding tirelessly, creating software I'd never thought possible. Clara handled the legal and client side, ensuring nothing slipped through. Sophie guided strategy, teaching me to act with precision, not emotion. One evening, I leaned back in my chair, watching the city lights outside. Look at this. Small victories, but they matter. Clients returning, code working perfectly, investors noticing. I can feel it. I'm not just surviving, I'm rising. And James. James won't see it coming. Clara placed a hand on my shoulder. You've changed, Ethan. Stronger, sharper. But remember yourself. Don't lose who you are in all this. I smiled faintly, a mix of exhaustion and determination. I won't. I've learned my lesson. Betrayal hurts. Yes, but it also builds fire. Every day I rise higher, and one day he'll look back and regret ever betraying me. I clenched my fists, staring at the monitors. This is just the beginning. From the rubble, I'm building an empire he'll never forget. And when the time comes, he'll see my name everywhere and know what he lost. I stepped into the gala, suit sharp smile, practiced. The room buzzed with wealth, ambition, and the kind of arrogance I knew all too well. And there he was, James Whitmore, laughing like he owned the world. Clara nudged me. Remember, Ethan, charm, influence, subtlety. Don't let him see you're watching. I nodded. I know, I've got this. A waiter passed by. I grabbed a glass of champagne and approached James casually. James, didn't expect to see you here? He turned, eyes bright. Ethan Clark. How's my old friend? I thought you were busy. Rebuilding? I smiled. I am. Slowly, carefully. But I had to come see the industry's elite in person. His grin widened. Always ambitious, I see. That's why you'll succeed someday. I studied him, every gesture, every smirk. And yet you stumble in small ways, James. Overconfidence, I'd call it, chuckled. Overconfidence. Please. I've never been overconfident, really. I leaned closer, lowering my voice. Missing deadlines, underestimating competition, ignoring minor investors. Sounds like overconfidence to me. He blinked, surprised. Minor, I don't know what you mean. I shrugged. Light. Just an observation. But don't worry, I won't tell anyone. My words dripped with innocence, but inside, satisfaction flared. A woman appeared beside me, notebook in hand. Ethan Clark. Isabella Grant. I cover corporate drama. Extended my hand. Isabella, pleasure. She shook it firmly, eyes sharp. I've been following James Whitmore. And, well, someone had to ask. You're rebuilding your company after his actions. I hesitated, then nodded. Yes, slowly, strategically. I like to watch, analyze, learn. He's blind to a lot, and that's useful. Her gaze was piercing. Do you enjoy it too much? Watching him fail, waiting for mistakes? I laughed lightly, hiding the fire. It's not enjoyment. It's Perspective. Strategy. You can't rebuild without understanding the landscape fully. Perspective can become obsession. Make sure you don't cross that line, Ethan. Revenge can eat you alive. I studied her, intrigued. Do you think I'm already there? She smirked. Maybe just be careful. Power changes people. I've seen it. I nodded, thoughtful. Noted. Later, I mingled with investors, dropping casual comments that questioned James's judgment without raising suspicion. I heard some projects miss deadlines. Curious how that slipped by unnoticed, I murmured to one financier. The man nodded. Yes, it's puzzling. I assumed oversight. But you're right. Something's off. I smiled, polite. Just observation. Can't ignore small signs, they matter. Clara leaned close. You're subtle. Precise. He wouldn't even know he's being undermined. I smirked. Exactly. Let him continue in his arrogance. His mistakes will grow, visible to everyone but him. Isabella joined me again, notebook ready. You're clever, Ethan, but at what cost? You're building an empire, yes, but are you losing yourself in the process? I took a slow sip of my drink. Maybe, but you can't rebuild without sacrifice. And James? He forced my hand. Her eyes narrowed, and the line between strategy and revenge? I hesitated, acknowledging the truth. Thin, so thin, it's dangerous. But I need this. For me. For the company. For everything he took? She jotted notes silently, studying me. I'll admit, you're fascinating. But don't let yourself become like him. That's the trap. I smiled faintly, inwardly conflicted. I'll remember that. Across the room, James was speaking loudly to a group. Overconfident, laughing, ignoring the subtle criticisms I'd seeded earlier. Investors whispering, doubts forming, but he didn't notice. The satisfaction was quiet but intoxicating, Clara whispered. See? His arrogance blinds him. Just like we predicted. Yes, I murmured. And I'll let it continue. Just a little longer. Patience pays. Later, I confronted James briefly again. Funny how small mistakes can grow into reputational cracks, I said casually. He laughed, dismissive. Cracks. I'm untouchable. Everyone knows it. I leaned in slightly, voice low. Even untouchable men can stumble. Even giants fall when blind to subtle threats. He paused, a flicker of uncertainty, then smiled confidently. You worry too much, Ethan. Maybe you're the one blind. I let it pass, smiling faintly. Maybe, but I see more than you realize. After the gala, Isabella caught up. Ethan, you're walking a dangerous path. Don't let this game consume you. I exhaled, thinking of every step I'd taken, every subtle move, every seed of James's downfall. I know, but I'm cautious, patient, calculated, and I'm building power, Isabella. Quietly, invisibly. He'll see it soon enough. Her gaze softened. Just remember yourself, even when you rise. I nodded, feeling the fire inside me. I haven't forgotten. But the empire grows, and his arrogance will be his undoing. As I walked home, I muttered under my breath, watching the city lights. Every laugh, every smug comment, every careless move, it's all part of the game. And I am playing better than he ever imagined. I stared at my laptop, a small smile tugging at my lips. Look at that, Clara. Another client lost. James doesn't even see it coming. Clara raised an eyebrow, cautious. Ethan, don't get too comfortable. You're playing with fire. I leaned back. Comfortable? No. Satisfied. Maybe a little, but it's more. Justice than pleasure. She shook her head. Justice. Or obsession. There's a fine line, Ethan. You're walking it. I pressed my lips together, thinking of the emails piling in. I know, but I can't reveal him yet. If I do, it looks personal. Let fate handle him. Let his arrogance destroy him quietly. Clara sighed. Still, don't forget who you are. You're not him? I'm not, I said, though doubt flickered in my chest. Not yet. The phone rang. Harper read, our investor, cheerful as ever. Ethan, I've been hearing good things. Your progress is impressive. But tell me what's happening with Whitmore. I grinned. He's unraveling. Small clients pulled out, minor investors questioning him. He's blind to his mistakes. The arrogance. It's his downfall. It's delicious. Harper chuckled. But careful. Don't let yourself get consumed by this. I rubbed my forehead. I know, but seeing him falter, it's hard not to feel a little vindicated. Clara frowned. A little vindicated, Ethan? Don't let it become satisfaction with destruction? I shook my head. I'm aware. But I've worked so hard to rebuild. Every setback he suffers reminds me why I started. Nathan Cole's message popped up. Need to meet? Partnership proposal. I smirked. Nathan. Always opportunistic, but maybe useful. Lara looked at me. Do you trust him? I hesitated. Not completely, but he has resources, contacts. He can accelerate the rebuild. I'll keep my guard. We arranged a meeting. Nathan leaned back in his chair. Ethan Clark, impressive comeback. Whitmore doesn't see it, but you're climbing fast. I smiled politely. Thank you. It's been a long road, he smirked. I can help. Investors, connections. If you're willing to take me on as an ally, Clara whispered as we left. Keep him close, but not too close. He'll bite if he smells weakness. I know. That's why I'm cautious, I replied. Later, I sat alone, sipping whiskey. James, I wonder if you feel it. The shift. Losing clients, credibility, slowly, quietly. Clara entered, concern on her face. You've been staring at that screen for hours. You need a break. Can't, I murmured. Every minute counts. Every small move he makes is an opportunity. But my voice softened. Sometimes I feel guilty. I didn't create this chaos, but I watch it knowing I could stop it. It's complicated, she nodded slowly. Ethan, that's why you must stay grounded. You're not him. Don't let the obsession consume you. I looked out the window. London glittered below, indifferent. I know, but seeing him struggle, it reminds me of betrayal, of how it felt to lose everything. That memory fuels me. Don't let it define you, Clara warned. Control the fire, or it will control you. I rubbed my jaw, conflicted. I'm learning, Clara. Slowly. Patience and observation. Strategy, not emotion. The next week brought more news. A minor investor withdrew support from James's company. I read the email aloud to Clara. Another one bites the dust. He's panicking, but he doesn't know why. Clara smiled faintly. See, subtlety works better than open confrontation. I nodded. Exactly. Let him falter quietly. The world will see the cracks, and I'll rise stronger. A message popped up from Sophie Lane. Ethan, watch your personal life. The obsession can bleed into everything else. Don't let it. I exhaled slowly. I know, Sophie, but it's hard not to let this become personal. You've come far, Ethan, she replied. But remember, the moment you become what you despise, you've lost. I ran a hand through my hair. I'm aware. That's why I balance. Business, allies, strategy, and observation. Every step is deliberate. Clara leaned on the desk. And James? How's he coping? I smirked, satisfaction sharp in my chest. Paranoia. He's questioning everyone now. Friends, colleagues. He's losing trust, even with his inner circle. He doesn't see the real threat, me. But that threat is growing. Clara's eyes softened. It's impressive. But don't let this consume your soul, Ethan. Power is intoxicating. I smiled faintly. I know. I feel it. Yes. But I'm careful. Patient. Every move measured. Every alliance deliberate. And one day, my voice hardened. James will see the empire I've built from the ruins he left, and he'll know who caused his downfall. Clara touched my shoulder. Then keep the balance. Let fate work, but don't lose yourself in the process. I looked at her, fire in my eyes. I won't. I'll stay grounded. But my empire grows. He can't stop it. Every setback he faces, every client he loses, every mistake he makes. It's all part of the plan. Karma, subtle but relentless. And I am ready. I leaned back in my chair, watching the London skyline, feeling a mix of satisfaction, guilt, and determination. I've been betrayed. I've been hurt, but now I'm empowered. In James Whitmore, he has no idea what's coming. Not yet, but soon. I clenched my fists, heart steady. Soon, he'll learn that betrayal builds more than destruction. It builds empires, and mine is unstoppable. I was in my office late at night reviewing contracts when the knock on the door startled me. Clara peeked in. "Ethan, you have a visitor," I frowned. "Who?" Her voice was hesitant. "James. He says it's urgent." My chest tightened. "James now?" Clara shrugged. "He insists. Should I send him in?" I stood slowly, tension coiling in my chest. "Yes. Let him come." The door opened. James stepped inside, shoulders slumped, eyes downcast. "Ethan, I need to talk." I folded my arms, voice cold. "Talk? After everything? After betraying me, leaving my company to crumble, destroying trust?" He flinched. I know I hurt you. I can't undo it. But I need your help. My company is falling apart. I made mistakes. Big mistakes." I laughed bitterly. "Help. You think I would help you after all you've done? You betrayed me, James. Betrayed our friendship, our dreams." "I know," he said quietly, eyes pleading. "And I'm sorry, truly. I never meant for it to go this far. I've lost everything." Clara watched silently, giving me space. I clenched my fists, torn. "And now you crawl, seeking mercy. After the lies, the theft." My voice shook. "Why should I forgive you?" He swallowed. "Because I regret it. I see what I lost, what I threw away. You were always loyal, always honest. I failed you. I'm asking for a chance to make it right." I looked at him, emotions warring inside me. Anger, disappointment, memories of betrayal, and a tiny flicker of the boy I once called a brother. "Chance, do you know what that word means? Do you know what I've had to endure to rebuild from the rubble you left?" "I know," he whispered. "And I don't deserve forgiveness. I just needed to tell you." I shook my head, voice low. I want to say I don't care that I'm beyond it. But part of me remembers who we were. And that part hurts so much more than the betrayal itself. James stepped closer. "I don't expect you to forgive me. I had to try. I had to face you." Clara cleared her throat. "Ethan, maybe mercy isn't weakness, but you have to decide if it's for him or for yourself." I sighed, feeling the weight of every sleepless night, every strategy, every subtle victory. "I'll think about it," I muttered, more to myself than to him. Later, Isabella appeared, notebook in hand. Ethan, watching him suffer, seeing him come begging. "Does it feel satisfying?" I shook my head. Satisfying isn't the right word. Complex. Agonizing. But I've learned so much. I've built power, yes, but is this victory meaningful if it consumes me? She tilted her head. Exactly. Revenge can be sweet, but it can also trap you in bitterness. I swallowed hard. "I know, but I can't ignore the betrayal, Isabella. It shaped everything I've become. I have to acknowledge it. But I'm trying not to let it define me completely." What? A message popped up on my screen. "Daniel Foster. We need to talk. Urgent business." Clara frowned. "Daniel? After everything?" I narrowed my eyes. Seems he's trying something. Another betrayal. I can't believe I ever underestimated him. He arrived an hour later, smug as ever. Ethan Clark, growing fast. But I hear whispers. Mistakes, vulnerabilities. Maybe I can help you. Or hinder you. I stood, voice sharp. Try, but remember, I've learned from betrayal. I've rebuilt stronger. You don't scare me anymore. Smirked. We'll see. Once he left, Clara said quietly, that could have gone worse. I exhaled, feeling tension drain slowly. Yes, but Daniel's move complicates things. I have to be cautious, always. Trust is fragile, and I can't let anyone break me again. Isabella appeared again, concern in her eyes. Ethan, all this power, all this strategy, don't let it make you forget yourself. You fought to rise, but don't become the person you despise. I nodded slowly. I'm aware. Every decision, every alliance, every move, I calculate. But I don't lose sight of who I am. Betrayal taught me lessons, harsh ones. I'm scarred, but wiser, stronger, resilient. Hey? Clara placed a hand on my shoulder. You've come far, Ethan. But remember, even the strongest can stumble if consumed by bitterness. I looked at her, eyes steady. I won't stumble. I've consolidated power, grown my empire, secured allies. James, Daniel. They've underestimated me. That's their mistake. A quiet moment passed, the city lights casting shadows across the room. I muttered, more to myself than anyone else. I've survived betrayal, built strength from ashes, and learned patience. I've faced remorse, temptation, threats, and I'm still standing. Clara smiled faintly. Then what now? I gazed at the skyline. Now, I continue. Careful, patient, unyielding. My empire grows, my power solidifies. And when the time comes, James will face the consequences. Daniel will learn respect, and I will remain steadfast. Scarred, yes, but unbroken, and wiser for every betrayal. Isabella nodded. Just don't forget yourself in the process. I clenched my fists, a quiet fire burning inside. I won't. I've learned my lessons. Betrayal builds strength, not weakness. And from now on, nothing will shake me again. I sat in my office, the city lights reflecting off the glass, thinking of everything that had led me here. Wealth, influence, respect my empire was real, yet it carried shadows, reminders of betrayal that never left me. Clara entered quietly, placing a cup of coffee on my desk. Ethan, you look exhausted. It's the empire, isn't it? I leaned back, sighing. Yes, every victory carries a cost. Sleepless nights, constant vigilance, and memories I can't erase. She smiled softly. You've built more than anyone could imagine, and yet, you still carry them, James, Daniel? The betrayals? I do, I admitted. They shaped me. Without their betrayals, I wouldn't have the drive, the strategy, the patience. But their shadows linger, haunting every decision. Liam knocked lightly and stepped in. Ethan, the board meeting went well. Investors are impressed. Growth projections are unprecedented. I nodded, grateful yet hollow. Good, but the victories are quiet. The satisfaction, tinged with melancholy. Liam raised an eyebrow. Melancholy. You're at the top. You're untouchable. Untouchable, maybe, I muttered. But not unscarred. Not unbroken. Success doesn't erase what betrayal did to me. Clara leaned on the desk. You've always been aware of that? But what about James? Has he learned? I smirked faintly. Humiliation doesn't teach quickly. Publicly, he's faltering. Investors questioning his credibility, colleagues distancing themselves. He's regretful, yes. But it's too late. His fate is sealed. Liam frowned. You don't. Take pleasure in it. I shook my head, conflicted. Pleasure. No. Satisfaction. Perhaps. Seeing justice unfold without me lifting a finger. It's subtle, almost invisible. Yet part of me wonders if the cost, my isolation, obsession, constant calculation, is worth it. Clara's voice softened. Ethan, every empire carries a price. Yours happens to be emotional, but you've earned loyalty. Harper, Liam, we stand by you. That counts for something. I exhaled. It does, but loyalty is rare. Trust even rarer. Every night I replay moments. Choices I made, paths I took. Sometimes I ask myself if revenge shaped me into someone I can't recognize. Harper Reed appeared via video call, cheerful as ever. Ethan, progress is phenomenal. I see the empire growing faster than I imagined. Thanks, Harper, I replied. But growth comes with reflection. Sometimes I wonder if the empire is worth the solitude. Reflection is fine, Harper said. But you've built something extraordinary. Betrayal tried to destroy you, yet you turned it into power. That's worth everything. I looked at the skyline again, shadows stretching across my office. Extraordinary? Yes. But alone. It's heavy. Success tastes sweet, but bitter under the surface. And the memories. James's betrayal, Daniel's schemes, they're like ghosts. Clara approached, hand on my shoulder. Ghosts that remind you why you're here. Why you fight. You've learned, adapted, survived. You're stronger for it. I nodded slowly. Stronger. Yes. But sometimes I feel the man I used to be, the naive, trusting Ethan, is buried under ambition and caution. He's there in fragments, reminding me of who I was, and who I can't be anymore. Liam spoke up quietly. Maybe that's the balance, Ethan. Shadows and light. Empire and scars. You can't have one without the other. I smiled faintly. Perhaps. Shadows shaped this empire as much as strategy and talent did. Every sleepless night, every plan, every risk. It's intertwined with pain, betrayal, and perseverance. Clara's eyes met mine, and you survived it all. That's the true achievement. I leaned back, letting the weight settle. Survival? Yes, but survival has changed me. I'm careful now, guarded, aware. Victory feels hollow if it comes without scars, and mine are plenty. Harper's voice chimed again. Ethan, remember this. Power, wealth, influence. They're yours. You've earned them. Don't let shadows make you forget that. I nodded, a faint smile forming. I won't. Shadows exist to remind me, not to consume me. I've reconciled with my past choices, and I understand the cost. My empire is built on both triumph and trauma. Clara leaned closer. Then what now? I gazed at the city lights, deep in thought. Now I maintain, grow, and protect. James will remain a cautionary tale. Daniel, a reminder. I've learned the delicate dance of trust, betrayal, and power. And through it all, I've discovered resilience. The scars remain, yes. But they define my strength. Liam smiled faintly. Sounds like wisdom, Ethan. You've earned more than just an empire. You've earned perspective. I looked around the room, at loyal faces, at the empire I built. Perspective. Yes. Power tastes sweet, but it's mixed with the bitter lessons of betrayal. That's the shadow I carry. And perhaps that's what makes this empire real. Not just wealth, not just influence, but the depth beneath it. The cost that ensures I never forget. Clara touched my arm gently. You've survived the darkness and turned it into light, Ethan. That's rare, I exhaled, feeling the weight and the triumph at once. Rare. Yes. And necessary. Empire of shadows, yes. Mine. And though it haunts me, it also sustains me. Every scar, every betrayal, it built this. And I endure. I sat in my office, the city lights painting shadows across the walls. Clara leaned against the desk, quietly observing me. Ethan, you look at peace. Exhaled slowly. Peace. It's strange. Not freedom from the past, not completely, but a sense of resolution. I've built, endured, survived. Clara nodded. James, He hasn't reached this point yet, has he? I shook my head, voice steady. No, he lives in regret. Public humiliation, failed ventures, and worst of all, the knowledge that he lost more than money. He lost trust, loyalty, friendship. He realizes now what he threw away. Liam entered, holding documents. Ethan, growth projections are phenomenal. Investors are confident. Your empire isn't just surviving, it's thriving. I smiled faintly. Thriving. Yes. But the scars remain. Betrayal leaves marks deeper than failures or losses. Yet, I've learned to carry them without letting them consume me. Clara touched my shoulder, and emotionally. You're moving forward? I think so, I said quietly. Sophie, Isabella. They helped more than anyone knows, guiding me, reminding me that power and revenge aren't everything, that healing matters, that reflection matters. Isabella appeared via video call, notebook closed. Ethan, I see you've changed. The fire hasn't dimmed, but it's tempered. You're wiser, careful, stronger, but at peace. I nodded, a small smile forming. At peace, yes. I've faced the shadows of my past. Betrayal, heartbreak, manipulation. They shaped me. But I'm no longer defined by them. She leaned forward. And James, do you feel satisfaction? I paused. Satisfaction? Yes. Justice? Yes. But not vengeance anymore. Watching him realize the consequences of his actions, it's natural. But dwelling on it? No, that's not for me. Clara spoke softly. Letters, memories, they still haunt you. I pulled out an envelope yellowed slightly. A letter from James, written years ago, before the betrayal. I stared at it, hands trembling slightly. I kept it. Not to hold on, but to remember. The dreams we had, the trust. It reminds me of what was lost, and how I survived it. Liam watched silently. It must be hard. Seeing that and knowing everything changed, I nodded, voice low. It is, but it also reminds me of my resilience. The person I was then, naive, trusting. And the person I am now, cautious, calculated, strong. That evolution. It matters more than anger. Clara smiled faintly. Then the past doesn't bind you. No, I said firmly. It informs me, shapes me, but it doesn't control me. I've reclaimed my life, my empire, my choices. I can move forward without fear of being destroyed again. Sophie appeared beside Isabella on the call. Ethan, you've learned trust is fragile. Betrayal is brutal, but resilience. That's your strength. You've transformed yourself. That's rare. I glanced at the skyline, feeling the night air through the open window. Rare. Yes. I've realized revenge is double-edged. It brings satisfaction, but also solitude. Sleepless nights, moral compromise. But knowing when to stop, knowing when to step away. That's power. Clara spoke again softly. And you're ready to step away? I exhaled, letting the weight fall. I am. The empire stands. My allies are loyal. My mistakes are lessons. And the past. It stays behind me. I've acknowledged it, learned from it, and I'm moving on. Isabella's eyes softened. Ethan, it's bittersweet, but that's the point. Healing isn't forgetting. It's embracing everything and choosing growth. I nodded. Growth. Yes. The scars remain, but they're proof of survival. And survival gives perspective, strength, and freedom. Clara handed me a small photo, a memory from the early days, James. Me, laughing after a successful pitch. Remember this? She asked. I stared at it, a lump forming in my throat. I do. It's a reminder of trust, friendship, and what was lost, but also of what I've built from those losses. Strength, empire, wisdom. Liam smiled faintly. And now you carry both the memory and the victory, as I said, voice steady. The empire is mine, built on resilience and hard choices. But I am no longer haunted by revenge. James's regret is his own. My peace comes from understanding, from reflection, from choosing to move forward rather than linger in the past. Clara looked at me, proud. Then you're ready for what comes next? I nodded, feeling the final weight lift. I am. The past shaped me. The betrayals hardened me. The scars remind me. But I choose forward. Growth, loyalty, resilience, and the lessons I carry. My empire, my life, my choices, they are mine, and I will live them fully, without looking back. I closed my eyes, letting the night wash over me. Bittersweet satisfaction filled my chest. The arc was complete. Heartbreak to empowerment. Shadows transformed into strength. And finally, I was free.